Ozone, or trioxide, is one of the most important molecules in Earth's atmosphere. Ozone blocks the sun's harmful UV rays from hitting the Earth, rebounding them back in space. Without this necessary function, life on Earth couldn't exist. However, there are different types of ozone residing here. Stratospheric, which accounts for 90% of our ozone, resides in the stratospheric level of the atmosphere, and is what protects us from the sun's rays. The second, ground-level ozone, is formed when nitrogen oxide combines with volatile organic compounds in the presence of sunlight. This is also known as pollution, and is generally formed from factory and motor vehicular problems, and results in the respiratory issues. Generally, ground-level pollution can be seen in the form of smog, which forms a thin wall above heavily polluted. Scientists have taken steps to reduce emissions, which in turn affect the levels of ozone that are present in the air that we breathe. Campaigns have been launched to expand the use of renewable energy. These new, clean energies include nuclear, solar, wind, geothermal, hydroelectric, and hydrokinetic powers. The automotive industry has also made leaps in the search for increased vehicle fuel efficiency. The creation of battery-powered, fuel cell, and plug-in hybrid cars has greatly implemented in the reduction of CO2 emissions. Limits have been placed on large factories and industrial facilities on a federal level. All of these steps are steps in the right direction. It will only be a matter of time until we can breathe clean, non-polluted air. Ozone also has major health effects on humans. Ozone has limited solubility in water. The upper respiratory tract is not as effective in scrubbing and filtering ozone from the air as it is from more water-soluble fluids, such as sulfur dioxide or chlorine gas. In the lungs, ozone reacts rapidly with a number of proteins and lipids on cell surfaces or lung-lining fluid. These cells become injured and leak intracellular enzymes into the airway. This can start a chain reaction that can ultimately lead to lung inflammation. Ozone can also directly affect the growth of plants and animals due to increased UV exposure. The exposure can damage those who are at the bottom of the food chain. Examples: shellfish, plankton, vegetation, and amphibians, which in turn has long-term effects on the food chain. Too much ground-level ozone can lead to crop failure. The effect on local bodies of fresh water can also be detrimental because of acidification and eutrophication, which is when there's too much oxygen in the water. June through August is when ground-level ozone levels are at their highest due to the heat and sunlight. In Kansas and Missouri, industry is a major contributor to this health-threatening problem. The coal-fired power plants are an easily identifiable point source, as well as sources that arise due to the population density, such as car emissions. There are regulations set by the Environmental Protection Agency that monitor national ambient air quality standards. However, there are no specific required fixes. States will call for regulation on equipment and machinery, limiting the amount of heat input allowed in relation to the machine's horsepower or brake HP. The more efficiently we as engineers can design systems that will reduce these hazardous emissions, the quicker and easier it will be for compliance to health standards and preservation of air quality. While it may seem simple to require businesses and factories to control their emissions by using alternative forms of energy or newly engineered equipment, the questions of ethics comes from the dual perspectives. Industries would lose money having to change their systems and machinery, which would not be affordable or seem necessary. However, the reasons for the change come from the need to keep the public and environment healthy and safe. The balance between economic and environmental stability is one that usually will spark debate when environmental hazards are called to review. The question is, what are we willing to sacrifice and to what cost?